one category whose mind simply opposes. They enter into a wicked conversation. They have a stubborn attitude, and they are called the tamasic seekers. They are still the seekers. Eastern wisdom, see the beauty of the Eastern wisdom. No, you are still the seeker because you are opposing. Why you are opposing? Because of the intellect. And the same intellect, once understand it, you will follow the tradition. You will follow the wisdom. Now, if you have that level of awareness in dealing in your personal, professional, social, political life, including, I'm giving an indirect answer, then I'll give you. Where is the problem? I believe you have understood this part. So now the question, but I'll formulate that question in a different way so that it goes inside your head intellect and then you contemplate and reflect. Because you all are seekers. You buy an iPhone, yes. You don't know this is the first time, so you read the manual and you understand, oh, this is the power button, let me open it, and I have to fill up all the information. The In the manual of the iPhone, it is not written, please continue to read the instruction, continue to read the instruction. And what we say? Practice meditation daily, practice the mantra daily. Don't forget it. You have done 7 days. On the 8th day, you miss. It means now you have started fresh. Why? Why? Don't you know the mantra? Yes, you know the mantra. Don't you know the steps of meditation? Yes. You cannot say no. Why? Because you are intelligent. A new refrigerator comes, you have not seen, manual is there, you read it, and you open it, finished. No manual in the science says repeat it, continue to do it, continue to do it, repeat it every day. Did you read the instruction before opening the iPhone? No. No, first you read it. They don't say, but we say, no, you have to do it. Why didn't you practice? Did you understand the question? Why we say it? Why the science does not say? Have you ever thought of this question? Have you ever thought of this question? You see, as we progress into becoming a seeker, we address every question by the intellect. When it comes to Eastern wisdom, mantra, meditation, listening and learning, I always say to you that please listen and learn. Listen it again. So if you don't listen and your intellect says, no, I know it, I have already understood it. So you are following the science, you don't follow the Eastern wisdom. That is the only difference. Are you getting it? My question, are you getting my question? Why? So when you answer why, you cannot leave these 5 steps. Answer in your mind. Answer in your mind. So my repetition, because I'm teaching a lot of people, so obviously my repetition is continuous. So you cannot challenge me that I'm not doing it. I'm doing it. What is what condition is for the seeker, it is also for the teacher. There is no difference. Why? Why we say repeat it? I have understood. Can't you say that you have understood? I say yes, but then why I say that you repeat it? You think the answer in your mind. So we are going a little deeper. So you have thought of an answer. Now, so you, while sharing the experiences, you share your answer, and now you listen to the answer. It will amaze you how the masters have such a deep penetration. I'm not saying I am. I teach from the East and West. So before we get the answer, we have to see our daily life and activities. You wake up in the morning. You wake up. Waking sleep and the dream state has nothing to do with the real self. I wake up, that is a false I. I look at my house, the world of name and the form, that is that is the false. Are you getting it? I'm eating the food, I'm hungry. That is also enters into the appearance. I'm hungry, I ate the food finished. So what is false? That which appears to exist. Before that, there was, it did not exist. Hunger did not exist before. Now it exists. Now I ate the food. It is gone. Waking up, then it turns into sleep. The waking up gone. I become angry over you. The next moment, anger is gone. I love you. Attachment is gone. We are constantly, continuously living in that appearance in a mirage. We see the mirage water, it is objective reality, and we have understood it. Blueness of the sky, we have understood it. I don't need to repeat it again and again. Understood. But what I have understood has nothing to do with the real self. So, this mind, this crazy mind, should not forget at any moment in your life that real self. We have to repeat it. We have to listen and learn. We have to practice it all the time. I'm the real self. Honey says to the partner, I'm the real self. And then something happens and I start fighting. So the two real self are fighting each other. I forget. I have to repeat it again. Are you getting it? What I want to say? You have a project of $1 million, you get only half of it, and then you are sitting. My goodness, I lost. I worked so hard. I have to repeat it. I have to remind myself. Are you getting? I'm answering that question. Because the real self is not seen by the senses and the mind, and what is seen by the senses and the mind is consistently, constantly changing. So at least this mind should remember how. You are in the office, yeah, Om Shanti is good. Yeah, talking to your friends, smart is good. Acronym SMART. So what happens? The moment you wake up, the entire waking state remembers in the field of awareness that I'm of the nature of the real self. This is what I have to, this is belongs to the transactional reality. That is the meaning of living in a moment. Intellectually, we can talk and we can share. That is good, but I have to live into that. And how to, what is the best? Oh, I have to remind myself. I have to listen and learn again and again and again and again. What is going to happen? You will fall into contemplation and reflection. What is going to happen if you, it will, mind will inspire you. Oh, let us do the practice. I had a little bit of anxiety today. Oh, let me do it. Let me remember it. And you get out of it. Should I? No, I will talk about that in the next session. It will, it will be an, you can say it will be an eye opener. One concept is enough. So I asked you a simple question. Why the teacher or the master or the text in the Eastern wisdom says repeat, 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 listening and learning, repeat it, contemplation, reflection, repeat it, practice, repeat it. Have you not raised a question in your mind what the heck you are saying? I understand it. You understand in the field of very subtle I thought. When it transcends, how it transcends, that is the method. That is the method. Because you are all seekers for a couple of years, so that's why I'm saying. What I see when I wake up, I see the world of name in the form. Buddha says this world is suffering because your mind claims this world of name in the form is real. In that moment, you remind yourself, I'm the real self, which is beyond this name in the form. Let the mind be settled once and for all that I'm the real self. What is the corollary? That I'm not the body. So when I'm not the body, I never take birth and I never die. I enter into a new level of awareness. Looking at the same world, living into the same world, living my same personal life, professional life, social life, family life. It enters into another level of awareness. How? Question is, why you are saying, I know the manual, I have read it. Modern science, comparison. Once this, I got this, I brought this PC from the Best Buy. They spent two weeks. Problem is not solved. So I'm just solving that. Then I said, okay, let me Google out, do this, do that, do that. The manual in the science does not give you the real, true, complete picture. The manual of the Eastern wisdom gives you the real picture from the very beginning. Where is that beginning? I'm of the nature of real self. Finished. Did you recognize it? No. I understand. So the journey continues. So by constant, consistent repetition, mentally, you are in a washroom. Practice Om Shanti. It's okay. You are remembering. You're taking a shower, remember. There are over 1 million rituals created in the Eastern wisdom to help the seeker to remember. And we have lost touch with that tradition. I'm not going into the ritual. I'm simply answering. We have to understand that. So answer this question to yourself. And once you answer this, you will find, oh, what will happen? The mind will get inspired. And that is what we explain through different uh, parables and metaphors. We are constantly indicating. Yesterday, I and Jerry, and we were there in a podcast session, and young guy is very wise, very intelligent. Initial, there were objections. What is the role of a teacher? Keep on talking, talking about the main subject. And in the end of it, he reached to that point. Intellectually, he reached. See, that is why I explained you. Either you are studying in a fifth grade, or you're doing undergrad, or master's, or a PhD, you all are seekers. That is the approach of the teacher. Well, if you don't want to listen, that is still you are a seeker. Our approach is different. You go to the Harvard and you're not studying, they will say, get out. It is the journey of life. Our goal is to find that real self, which the master says, I have to prove it. I gave you another example, which perhaps has appealed your intellect in the mind. Prove it. I have not to negate it. Prove it. It is the journey. It is the journey. It is the journey like a river flowing from the mountain to the ocean. It begins with the force and effort. Some people say, I'm totally committed. Oh, next day they leave it. Naturally finds its path with the path of least resistance once the river starts flowing from the mountain to the ocean. Carves through the obstacles without fighting them, gets deeper and calmer as it progresses. The river from the mountain. I have seen the Ganges Glacier and the Ganges River. You'll be surprised that the water roars because the speed of the water at that Ganges in the Himalayas is more than 50 miles an hour. There we had the monastery of my master. So naturally finds its path of least resistance, cars through the obstacle, gets deeper and calmer. And then we reach to the Haridwar or Rishikesh. The water is so calm. Eventually merges effortlessly with the ocean. Individuality merges into that infinite, all pervading real self. That is why we have to repeat it. We have to listen and learn. We have to contemplate and reflect. In every situation, every event, every relationship in the world outside has to do with the false, transactional reality. Don't say false, but let us say transaction. And the transactional reality is not the real self. So do you see this river holds anything? No. Rejects anything? No. Maintains its nature despite changing landscape. Despite changing the landscape, I'm child, fifth grader, now I'm 10th grader, now I'm landscape, changing the landscape of life. Now I'm single, now I'm married, now I have kids, now I have money, I don't have. Huh? Huh? See that? See, changing the landscape of the life, I recognize something within me never changes. I had a glimpse of it but it cannot be seen in the world outside. Repeat, listen and learn, contemplate and reflect, practice without, don't eat, but practice. Otherwise, our goal is awakening. Relaxation, calmness, you can get it by pills, by any practice of meditation. That is not our goal. The master says that this journey has to begin with a conscious effort. Again, I'm giving the same example of yesterday. In the beginning, we are not conscious of ourselves, what we speak, what question we raise. It comes from my mind, my belief, my culture. And that is what this young guy started talking. I said, very good. You can start from anywhere. But once you become conscious, subconscious effort, habitual effort becomes a conscious effort. And that is what I was so happy inside. So once it is in a conscious effort, the revelation will start. To have that conscious effort, repeat, listen and learn, reflect, practice, practice, practice. Why? Masters, why they are so crazy? They insist, please listen, contemplate, reflect daily, whenever you have the time, in the in the midst of anxiety and duality. iPhone, read the manual, through the manual. Majority, 99% of the people through the manual. They claim that they know it. So by working on any instrument, ultimately they know it. So they are working in the field of transactional reality, not in the field of absolute reality. That is why I have to remember. Are you getting an answer? You see, that is the that people do not understand this. Why? I know Om Shanti. I know what it means. No, you don't know it because you don't have an experience of it. Like the lotus and the sun. Lotus, we have seen many lotus in Ganges, in the Himalayas, in the Ganges. There is you see the ritual. Now you see the ritual, you'll be surprised how those masters have created those rituals. When I read it and contemplate and reflect, it bursts, my intellect bursts and says, no, what is this? How they have come to this conclusion? You see, I simply gave a phrase, lotus in the sun. So we have a white lotus flower in the Himalayas. Lotus and the sun. Lotus grows, it begins in the mud. I'm simultaneously comparing. I take birth in the mud, totally unconscious. You see the comparison. We have forgotten those rituals. I'm just giving you one sign of it. It grows through the murky waters. I don't know what kind of parents I have, the circumstances and the conditions in which I'm, I'm bringing up. It requires a regular nourishment. So I'm totally unconscious in childhood, subconscious or habitual. So I need a regular nourishment. Because of that nourishment, I depend on my parents and the environment and the situations. I'm living in ignorance. Then what happens? The same lotus now opens gradually with the sun's warmth. That real self was present since the birth. It is passing through many challenges and it wants to know itself. Finally blooms above the water. Finally blooms above the ignorance. Remains untouched by the mud. We have to reach to that state of real self where I'm untouched by this body, mind, intellect, ego, thought, problems, opportunities, likes and dislikes. Lotus flower. Have you seen that? Their leaves, if you put the water, it remains untouched. Opens and closes with a natural rhythm. What is that? Practice and non practice. Sun is constant. Lotus is a seeker, does the moving. So if I don't remember, if I don't recall, if I don't practice, my goal is awakening. Intellect says, no, I know I have understood it. It is not going to work. Everyone has done it. Now, what I'm saying, you see that what is a ritual pertaining to the lotus flower? So you see that the knowledge is hidden in it. So there is a text which writes that those who first go to the Himalayas, they search the lotus flower. Now you see that entire explanation lies in a ritual. So this is a ritual is explained. You go to the Himalayas first, then you start searching the lotus flower, you pluck it, you return with respect and love, and you offer to your guru. Guru here means the knowledge. You will be awakened. So those who believe in so-called practical physical experiences, sensation, the master says, go to the Himalayas, pluck the flower, offer it to the guru, it will happen. Why? Because your goal of going to the Himalayas is bringing the lotus flower. So you constantly remember. The message is the same. Listen, learn, constantly repeat at any moment in your life. You should see that ritual. I have just explained the ritual in a different way. So whether you practice ritual or you do it intellectually, you understand it, it's okay. Both are okay. Both are at par. But if I do it intellectually, I have to commit myself. Otherwise, it is not possible. On a lighter note, My entire family was in the Himalayas with my master. So my son heard the ritual. So he went in search of the lotus. And normally in the night, we have to secure ourselves because there are uh, Himalayan tigers, which we have in Arizona, mountain tigers. So we were not aware of it. Where he has gone, it was 10 p.m., so we don't know where is this guy. And he reached the next day morning. So my master says, you are not allowed to say anything. I will deal with him. And I could see he was also thumping his stick. And he started shouting when he returned. His lotus flowers also fell on his feet. Oh, the master. And then master explained, you have to understand it. Every ritual has a message. You brought only one lotus flower. How many days you have to do it? How much effort? No, knowledge. That changes your entire perspective. I'll take one more session to summarize these 5 steps. You have already understood this smart. So close your eyes, and eyes are closed. Find out the place, become aware of the place, position, and posture. You all are seekers. I need not to explain it. Being comfortable. I need not to explain it. Why? Because you have been repeating it. You have heard it many a times. The memory of the consciousness is awakened when you start doing the practice. I need not to worry about being carefree. Yes, being carefree. I need not to explain it. You are aware of the breath, aware of the flow of the breath. By repetition, memory of the consciousness, not memory of the past. Whatever the memory of the past, it pertains to the worldly objective reality. So I'm awakening that memory of the real self, which is already there. That is why I have to repeat. I have to follow these rituals. The flow of the breath is okay. No, not only the flow of the breath, the first neighbor is the world outside. Now you see that? That is what I explained you in a different way, deeper way. First neighbor, the world. Second neighbor, the physical body. And does your mind responds to it the moment I say the second neighbor is the physical body? Do you really understand it? No, then I have to repeat it. Third neighbor, energy body, hunger and thirst. I'm just pointing out. Fourth neighbor, mind. Oh, duality, pain, pleasure, you, me, he, she. Okay, profit, loss. Intellect, I thought. Fifth neighbor. With that awareness of the breath, you are moving to an understanding, and the sixth neighbor is the ignorance. Oh, then it also becomes my practice when I repeat Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. May there be happiness for all. I have repeated 100 times, nothing happened. It will not happen unless you repeat 100,000 times. Still, it did not happen unless you repeat 1 million times. But what is this? This is moving from fifth grade to high school to undergrad to graduate, masters to PhD. Oh, that is why I have to repeat. So every time you change the target, yes, to help you awaken. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. May there be peace for all. Sarvesham Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesh, may there be completeness for all. Did you understand how many repetition? How many repetitions of false I claims I have done so much? Forget about it. When you take admission in masters, I have already read so much. You don't say it. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. May there be a spaciousness. I should experience that. Now I have changed that perception, my friends. In that state of the change in the perception, the active steps work very well. Looking deep inside the forehead in the space, dropping Om Shanti into the space, I have repeated so many times. Did you pass 10th high school or undergrad? What is that? Oh, that is your awareness. And now start breathing long, deep in the hissing breath into the rib cage. You have reached to the masters. You don't worry about your mind does not have any objection to your breathing, and you continue doing it. You don't count it has been a long. Just do it. Even if I stop saying anything, you continue the journey. Let endurance take care of you, and then it should become a joy of doing. Continue, my friends. Continue. Continue. You are breathing long, deep in the hissing the entire. Do you remember that you have to expand your entire rib cage and contract it? That is the breathing we are talking about. We are not talking about the fire breath and or breath of fire, whatever you say. Om Shanti is regular, hitting that space of the mind. Why? Because that real self is behind that. Why we are breathing, we are preventing any past impression to return. And that reserves into chains and experiences. And stop it. Pay your attention to the flow of the breath and experience the changes. Allow the mind to settle in the change in experiences. Why? So that the mind will never forget, it will repeat. When? Whenever you remember, because your remembering says you have yet to reach there. Okay. Do this, go back, look into the space, drop the Om Shanti into the space inside the forehead, and now start. Belly breathing long, deep, and the hissing. Belly expands like a balloon, it squeezes, touches the spine. And take care of the crazy mind. The mind starts moving the entire body. Here, inhaling and exhaling equally into the belly, there is a total expansion of the belly during inhalation and squeezing during exhalation with Om Shanti, with the stillness in the body. Why we put so many conditions? Same thing. So that remembering from the words and the language transforms into an awareness, master's degree. I'm still using the parables and the and metaphor. Man, if the mind perceives the objection, you are still doing the masters, but you fell into the fifth grade. Long, deep, and the hissing breath into the belly. And now stop this. Do nothing. Pay attention to the flow of the breath and experience the changes, or I would say change in your experience. No worries, I'm going to merge all these steps slowly, and you'll have a new level of awareness. So you are looking into just the flow of the breath and change in experiences, a type of sensation, sometimes tingling. Maybe you may have a vision, it's okay. And now we are dropping Shanti on the 16 segments of fingers, the way your mind lives in the state at now. So you may do it Shanti, or you may do it longer. Shanti, the mind commits that I have to become intensively aware of that segment, that line. Means what? If you do it intellectually, it will not happen. But with awareness, it can happen. So you'll have an intense sensation on those fingers. Even either when you are doing Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, or you are doing Om Shanti, whether it is taking time or it doesn't take any time. Why? That entity, which we call the real self, is different, separate from the time. Now looking deep inside the heart, visualize a triangle of any color. Move the mind, dropping Om Shanti on each side of a triangle, clockwise, anti-clockwise. When you find the sync, that is the right moment of the mind to push the mind. Singing mentally, loudly, Om, and you're pushing the mind deep inside the cave of your heart. Mind seemingly stops. Drop the Shanti. And after that, you do nothing. Do nothing means what? In the intellect, there is an I thought which is the doer. Fifth, neighbor. Self absorption is there. Yes, if the mind returns again, it causes challenges. We have dropped into the fifth grade, so we have to repeat it. Do you see the importance of repetition? Why the master says, "Oh, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Oh, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes, open the eyes inside the palms, know your experiences, bring the hands down. We'll share our experiences now. How are you, Stephen?
I'm good, sir. Thank you very much. My meditation was I can't say it was deep. It was filled with a lot of contemplation and reflection. And I've said this to you that I found it in the past to be bizarre that you always seem to talk about something that has just recently happened to me. But today I don't find it bizarre, so I guess that's part of my own evolution. I was with a mutual friend of ours back east these last few days, and he had a lot of conversations and questions about Eastern wisdom and so on and so forth. And it got to a point that I said to him, right to this exact topic, was you've chosen to not show up to class for over a year, and you admittedly don't listen to our lessons. Said, so you can't keep questioning how it applies to your life when your life has moved further and further down the road and you've chosen not to take the evolutionary journey of the Eastern wisdom. I said, and what I'm about to say is that you're on a second grade level and you're asking me questions that are on a sixth grade level. So you
Yeah.
can't skip everything in between and not be confused. And his response kept saying, yeah, but, yeah, but, yeah, but. And I was like, you know what? I go, I'm going to leave you with this. Egos have no ears.
Yeah.
And I need you to think about that and we'll go from there. And that's what my meditation was about. And my meditation was just, it was so fast. And I was shocked that it was over. So thank you. And it makes me feel good that I am thinking the right way and gave him the right advice. So
Definitely. Beautiful. Yes. When somebody is ready, open, and ready to listen, then we can give an example of second grade and sixth grade or masters or otherwise, let us keep quiet. Yes, you seem to be right. Finished. But when we say this, it is also the part of our own journey. We witness that we have been evolving inside. That is the most important thing. So even the teaching should evolve, even communication should evolve. That awareness should be maintained. Very good. So how are you, Dennis?
I'm good, thank you, and thank you for the lesson and the practice. Um, Regarding this question that you were explaining today, I asked this question to myself long time ago, and
Good.
the way I answered it back then was, I think, pretty similar to your explanation, but from a little bit different perspective. I imagined scales in my mind, and on the left part of the scales there is a statement, "I am the body and the mind," and the right part of the scales, the statement, "I am the real self." So the outside world constantly puts weight on the left part of the scales, and it tries to convince me that I am the body and the mind. So I have to put the matching amount of weight on the right part of the scales, uh, and how to do it by constantly reminding myself. So the world says I'm the body and the mind, and I have to say no, I am the real self. So, and how to do it? It is done only through the practice and through the contemplation. Uh, so the amount of time I spent in the worldly activities, pretty much doing it unconsciously, I have to spend the equal or greater amount of time in contemplation and the practice. Hence, there is a need for constant repetition and more and more time spent in the practice and contemplation. Or the other approach, which it seems that you are trying to get us into, is to maintain awareness at every point of outside activity. When I do something in the outer world, I have to separate myself from that activity, and I have to maintain awareness that I'm the real self and not the doer of that activity. And then there is a chance that this weight that I put on the other part of the scales will outweigh the statement that I'm the body and the mind. Here's how I was explaining it to myself. And my meditation was very calm and deep and relaxed. Thank you.
Beautiful. What an extraordinary way to explain it. I'm going to use this metaphor for others. I don't know whether you will use it or you others will use it or not. So because the weight is too much on the side of the false or the transactional reality. And that transactional word is the word of the name in the form. That is what the Buddha says it is suffering. It is because of this, not for any other reason. Otherwise, this word is beautiful, beautifully explained with that. And that is why I have to constantly remind myself. I have to shift the scale. If you see the scale, you have to see this should be heavy, this should be lighter. Means the body and the mind, ideation should be lighter, the real self should be. Thank you, Dennis. Yes, you are helping me get more insight in a different way. Everyone has to find their own insight. Principle is here. I have to find insight. Principle is here. You have an Android phone, you have an iPhone, and you have now the Tesla phone is also coming, etc., etc. How are you, David and Jerry?
Thank you, sir. The lesson, the whole metaphor with the lotus, I found very fascinating, and how it rises from the mud. So that was very good. But the interesting thing, sort of my takeaway from it, was just the educational journey we're on, and educational journey in real life and Western world is there's a beginning and an end to it, and then it stops and you start working. And I think that people don't realize that this in Eastern wisdom is a constant learning till the last breath is had. So, I don't know that it does good to call it sixth grade or second grade or masters or whatever. It's just a continuous process. My meditation was very deep. I really like the intention on the segments and the japa. That was very powerful. So thank you.
Very good. Yes, even if we take the metaphor, while intellectually we can take the metaphor of a lotus flower, the muddy, and then it grows, then it comes out of the water, and then we see the water has no impact. Even in the presence of the water, it has grown and has become a lotus flower. Even in the presence of, I'm using another word, even in the presence of too many problems and the challenges in the life, that real self is not at all affected. It will point to the sun again. That is the beauty of this journey. Beautiful way to explain it. Thank you. How are you, Jerry?
Sir, I'm good. Thank you. Yeah, the meditation was deep. I also like the lotus flower and the perspective of no matter how muddy the waters get in this transactional world, if we're totally surrendered to real self consciousness, what we are, then it doesn't matter how muddy the waters get. We'll bloom, we'll evolve,
Yes, recognition. There is a word that you use, which is commonly used in Eastern wisdom. That is what the word surrender is. So the moment we use the surrender, I'm giving interpretation uh, for the Western mind, it is recognition. I simply recognize. How I recognize? When I remember, then I recognize. So what the Danish was saying, oh no, I have to recognize. It means I have to remember again and again. Because the mind cannot remember in the presence of this world of the name and the form. Beautiful. How are you, Brandy?
I'm good. Thank you for the lesson and the meditation today. The part about education obviously resonated with me because I've had a lot of conventional education and that's what I do for a living. But especially the part about regression, because I think I see that pattern I always have as a teacher where students will make gains, but then they go back and that is useful. Right. I see it in my own journey that sometimes I go back, like I slip back, but it doesn't mean that you're not still getting it or on the right track. And so that part was helpful. And I reflected on that during my meditation, which was pretty deep.
Yes, yes, that's really good. You are right. Sometimes we fall down. Have you seen that people who have masters and PhD degree, but their level of awareness is like fifth grader or 10th grader? So in spite of that, they have fallen down. So, so this regression, this falling down, rising up is a continuous journey. But what happens in the presence of the knowledge of the Eastern wisdom, if one is awakened, what a great, what a great opportunity it is. Beautiful. How are you, Christina?
Thank you. The way I answered the question is almost the sense of walking through a dark forest. When I'm here in meditation and practice, or I do it every day, I'm holding the flashlight, but then I forget, right? We forget. And it's like we're not having the light to see through the forest and to be able to carry that into our day-to-day activities is what is important to remember and to practice.
Beautiful. You reminded of the, I won't say mistake, but I would use the word ignorance. Many a times it happens. I'm holding the key of my car and then I'm searching the key. So the flashlight is in my hand, but I'm still searching. Do you see that subjective reality is the journey of Eastern wisdom? That is the beautiful way to present it, to explain it. Beautiful. How are you, Barbara?
I am good, thank you. I was just thinking about your question and the meditation and the mantra. And I was looking at that in terms of being the nourishment that you need for the path to find your true self, just as food is nourishment to the body.
Definitely. You are right, Barbara. Yeah, go ahead.
No, that was basically my thought.
Yeah, you see that I wanted to say with conviction. I've studied only I would say around 200 texts of Eastern wisdom, whereas we have more than 3,000. But you get a feel after studying and contemplating and reflecting that there is no example, there is no metaphor, there is no explanation which is not present in the teachings of these texts, which you can find now. Whether it pertains to what you said just now, what Christina has said, even what Dennis and others have said, everything you can find in one or the more text, directly or indirectly. So I have that conviction that every you cannot overstretch. You cannot have anything which has not been told. Why? Why? Answer that in your mind this week. How about you, Terry?
Good. Yeah, because we forget so easily, and I think what everyone has
Yeah.
already said.
Yes, we forget, we have to remind. So think why I forget, because I'm talking to you and I feel that you are separate from me. I'm talking on a different object. So that idea of a separation is already present in my mind. That is causing the forgetfulness. Otherwise, the real self is one pure consciousness. It is one common factor for all our existence.
But
Like,
we
like an
have
you and me are not at all different. The very you has come because of I thought in my fifth neighbor. We are not different. Then your mind said, no, my body is different from. We are not the body and mind. We are not the body and the mind. So, a lot of contemplation and reflection is required to live into that state of what we use the word nirvana or awakening, whatever you say. It's the same thing. Yes, we have two more. Yes, Vaibhav.
Thank you, sir. The practice was good. Mind was calm. And with respect to the question, it's like continuous learning is required. So it limits my ego and like my projection towards the false I. And it keeps an honesty that I still have to learn so much. So
Yeah.
it keeps that thing that I don't know and I still have to learn.
Yes, that is also exactly it is written in the same way. Now I have to get rid of the ego. That's why I have to remember. That's why I have to repeat. That's why I have to do the practice. Yes, you're right. That is the beauty. You see the beauty of the Eastern wisdom. But if you solve any problem of the science, I am a psychologist, so I teach mind on the basis of behavior model. Christina will talk to you. Hundreds, there are more than 50 different models of treating the mental illnesses. And sometimes they oppose each other. We have more than 250 psychologists. You have psychosynthesis, you have hierarchy model, you have Maslow model, you have Freud. We have only one model and variety of explanations. Why? So that your mind believes should drop the ignorance. How simple it is, but how challenging it is. How are you, Sangeeta?
सर प्रैक्टिस बहुत अच्छी थी और सर एक जैसे लगता है कि हमें खाना दिन में 2 बार खाना ही है तो वैसे ही अंदर की सफाई के लिए भजन और जप तो बहुत जरूरी है और सर
Yes,
इसके लिए एक डिसिप्लिन है कि एक टाइम फिक्स करना है कि सुबह 5 बजे अगर उठना है तो वो टाइम एक फिक्स करना पड़ेगा तो
beautiful.
उससे बहुत बेनिफिट मिलता
Now, see, the Sangeeta has again explained the same principle in a different way. I opened that question directly, I answered you directly. So there is a text which says that is what she is referring. She says that you have to fix the time. If you are waking up at 6, you have to wake up at 6 without fail. You have to start your meditation at 6:30. You have to do it, come what may. Why? Same answer is the same. So you teach one thing to a 5th grader, you teach another thing to the 10th grader, you teach another thing to the 3rd person. Principle is the same. That is the beauty. Thank you, Sangeeta. That is all for today. We'll meet again.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You, namaste.
Thank you. Namaste.
Hey,